Hi, everyone. Welcome to the December Mentor Zoom for mentors who are working with new to profession teachers in their first year. So I have had some unexpected events happen to me where I broke my wrist. And unfortunately, the injury isn't the worst of it. What is the worst of the injury is that it's on my dominant hand. So now I'm forced to do everything left-handed. And I am, that's really a struggle to do everything left-handed. So that's why I'm recording this video so that you don't have to be sitting in a bunch of dead space while I'm trying to change the slide or find the graphic that I want you to look at. So hopefully this will just be a short video for to get you set up for success in the month of December. So here we go. Do not forget to click into the sign-in that is on the email that you found this recording, and make sure that you record your attendance, record that you listen to the video. Okay, here is the calendar for December. It's a short month. Hopefully you'll have a chance to meet with your mentee for the 2 weeks in December that are left, the week of December 11th, the week of December 18th. Know that there will be some mentee-mentor surveys getting pushed out. I plan on pushing those surveys out probably the last week in December, and then I'll leave them open and maybe not close them until the end of January. But I just know that I do like to get feedback from both mentors and mentees at the end of the semester. So just be expecting those surveys to hit your emails. Okay. So there's no December reading for general education teachers. For the first days of school, no reading. However, for SPED, there is some reading. Chapter 5, behavioral strategies. So if you're looking at the screen, notice that there's the 3 big ideas in the first days of school. Effective teachers have good classroom management. We spent quite a bit of time talking about management. We are currently talking about positive expectations for students. And then in January, we'll make that shift to designing lessons for mastery for the rest of the school year. If you look at the SPED big ideas, there is some parallel there, in that effective teachers have good classroom design based on their students. They have appropriate teacher and student materials organized to minimize the loss of instructional time. So that's where we are right now as far as the 10 components for success book. The chapter delves into behavioral strategies, and it's that whole big idea that engaged students have less behaviors, and students who have strong procedures and a classroom environment that supports their needs have better engagement. So that classroom design, classroom management, and engagement are reciprocal. Okay, so let's dig down into that week of December 11th. It would be good if you could talk to your mentees about having that consistency in the classroom. And we'll talk about procedural drift here in the next slide, those positive affirmations, and I want to talk a little bit about teacher dumps. First, let's talk about consistency in the classroom. As you all know, things get wonky in December. It's difficult to follow the normal schedule, and there's lots of extra happenings around the school. Consistency in instruction, consistency in procedures and routines, consistency in the schedule as much as possible helps the wonkiness. Additionally, it is very common for students to experience procedural drift. Procedural drift is when the students mysteriously forget all the procedures that they've been doing up to this point in the school year. Typically, procedural drift happens in small increments over time but becomes super obvious around this time of year. Let your mentee know that it is so common. It's not them, and they shouldn't be surprised when students forget everything when they come back from winter break. Mentees should be prepared to reteach procedures just like they did at the beginning of the school year. It's a good time to reset, by the way. It's a great opportunity to reset, recalibrate, and set expectations for the second semester. A reminder that the goal is to get 80% of students to follow procedures. It's unrealistic to expect every student to follow. There will always be outliers. If your mentee can get 80% of students following procedures, then they are freed up to attend to the 20% who always need some TLC. A reminder to you about the phases of a first year's teacher's attitudes towards teaching. Many new teachers are working lots of hours and need that winter break, which is right around the corner. Good thing. Being in charge of a classroom has many moving parts and is exhausting for new to profession teachers who are experiencing a steep learning curve and doing everything for the first time. So don't be surprised if they're a little down in the dumps. It is normal for this time of year. Winter break is that halfway point in the year, and my experience with new teachers is that they always come back in better spirits than when they left. Thinking about effective teachers and positive expectations for students. Positive affirmations build self-esteem and confidence. Research shows that students who overtly write or say positive affirmations perform better. The research pertains to assessments. However, this concept can be applied to just about anything, especially when things begin to get hard. So if you go back to that email, there is a document with 150 positive affirmations, and you can use that as a resource. What you're looking at now is a resource to help those SPED teachers who are the waiver lead teachers. It's a check-in for paperwork, and there's 6 strategies to help your mentee complete their paperwork proficiently. So if you go back to the email again, you can click into the link and you have a Google document that you can print, and it will help support you in supporting the waiver teacher getting their paperwork done. So these are the big ideas from the 10 Critical Components for Success book. There will not be time to discuss in December. However, I just wanted to make sure that I made these available, these big ideas available to you, in case you do have a chance to talk about them. But really, I will give time in the 3rd week in January to talk about them, just like we've done in previous months. The whole big idea behind positive behavioral supports is if your mentee has the 10 critical components for success and they're put in place, then problematic behaviors decrease. So here are those 10 critical components for success. If your mentee or if you've been doing the reading, there's been strategies provided to you around physical arrangement, around organization of materials, schedules, visual strategies, and for this month is behavioral strategies. So again, that whole idea in getting all of these components in place, problematic behaviors decrease. What I do want to point out to you, similar to the first days of school, the general education book, when we come back in January, the 10 critical components will transition to talking about instruction as well. Okay, for the week of December 18th, if you have a chance to meet with your mentee, that's awesome. Please talk about the end of semester expectations at your site. We all know that they look different, whether you're in elementary, whether you're down in Homer, whether you're in Seward, whether you're in your SPED classroom, all of the end of semester expectations look different. So talk with your mentee about what those look like. Also talk with your mentee and encourage them to think about themselves during the winter break. The winter break is not an opportunity to catch up on all the work that they didn't have a chance to do in August, September, October, November, and December. It's an opportunity for them to relax, take care of themselves, do some fun activities, and reset and regenerate for when they come back in January. So do encourage your mentee to take care of themselves. Also, there is the December checklist that would be good for you to talk with your mentee about. There are those Power Teacher Pro videos that I made back in October. They're all linked on the December checklist if your mentee needs to revisit that information. Okay, so let's see here. There's the January reading. Like I've been talking about during this recording, that we're going to shift to talking about instruction in January. If your mentee wants to get going on the pages, they certainly can. There's the general ed pages from the first days of school, and then for SPED, we're going to transition into Chapter 6, Goals, Objectives, and Lesson Plans. Okay, I think that's it. Hopefully you've gotten all the information that you need to set yourself up for success for December. I do want you to go into your Google Drive. Make sure you have your December Foursquares. Let me know if there's any kind of problems and you don't see them. And note on your calendar that our next Mentor Zoom is January 8th. Other than that, happy holidays. I hope you enjoy your winter break, and I'll see you back in January.